Call to order the 10/8/25 Unsafe Building Commission. Move to old business, 1602 Greenwood Road.
There's not been much change there. The truck remains in the driveway with a flat tire. There are
Sorry about that.
there's some other things in the
water issue going on.
there's some other things in the backyard, some pallets, and I've not walked through the property. Just not seen any improvements, and no one has reached out to me from the residents.
What is your recommendation?
My recommendations, we can, Alex input, we can either start finding them or we can try to move forward with getting a court order to start going onto the property to clean it up. I don't know legally going into a garage and removing articles.
Yes, obviously going into the garage and moving things. Does it stay? Okay. We shouldn't go into the garage and do anything without a court order. The state of the building being unsafe is visible from the right of way. I drove past it before the meeting today, so there's enough based on what we can see from the street, as far as I can tell, to either file a civil suit to force compliance with the ordinance and get an injunction, and of course fines could be levied in that form as well, or you could just do it administratively, and Bart could order fines. But I guess for my part, court orders are a lot easier, and if it seems likely to go that way anyway, you might as well cut to the chase.
I know the neighbors would appreciate whatever we can do, because it's been an ongoing thing for at least 3 years. I don't think that garage door's been shut in 3 years, and I don't think that truck's been moved in 3 years.
Well, there is a process that we could administratively, through this board, order the repairs. I don't think there's anything in the ordinance that specifically says how garage doors have to look or that they have to function, but clearly the fact that it doesn't close, it's either it's a fire hazard, it's a nuisance, it attracts vermin. There's a million reasons that the broken garage door is a violation of the ordinance. We could issue the notice. Has there been a notice of violation issued and ignored?
There's been unsafe notice issued.
Unsafe notices?
Yeah, that spells out what the issues were.
Okay, forgive me for forgetting that. But there's a couple ways we could go. We could either go administratively, order it to be done. If it's not done, then you could bid the job, pay for it through the town's funds, and then put a lien on it for the amount of the repairs. You'd have to bid it. If it's less than $10,000, actually, you could just use in-house labor if that exists. But again, that's probably more paperwork than you're really wanting to get into. Probably the cleanest option would be to file suit.
I'm going to go with that just from a staffing perspective. We have several people out on leave due to injury.
Okay.
So we're running short-staffed at this time. So I don't know if we have the staff to even do it
But
internally.
and we would have to store it too.
I would much
Anything.
rather go through a court injunction.
Okay.
I think it's cleaner. I think it's a more legal and fair process to go that route.
Well, then after this meeting, I can follow up with Bart, make sure I have his whole file on the thing, and I can get a lawsuit drafted pretty quick.
I think that needs to go up for a vote amongst the commission here.
I'm in favor of it.
Does anyone offer a motion for pursuing this through court injunction?
So moved.
We have a motion from Terry.
Second.
We have a second from Nate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
10-4.
Thank you, Alex.
Yes, sir.
Move on to the next item, 225 North Indiana, Arby's unsafe fence.
I can actually update on that. I don't know if y'all saw, so Bart had sent violation notices to the owners of this building multiple times, but they all kept coming back rejected. It turns out, so I pulled the deed, identified the owners as two partners, Tony Schuler and Terrence Lancaster. Both of them are in New Albany, but they're limited partners in the ownership of this building. The deed they took ownership with, if I recall, it's like 30 years old. So I think these gentlemen are elderly, but they're both living, as far as I can tell. I resent Bart's notice with a letter to these men by certified mail, and I actually confirmed before the meeting today that it was delivered. And in the letter, I advised them that they ought to be here today to discuss with the authority what their intent was with regard to the violations identified. They're not here, but I can confirm that the postal tracking shows that the letter was delivered on October 1st. So they've had a week to think about whether to show up or not here. Anyway, that's the update. As far as the details of the violations, I'll let Bart handle that.
Yeah, and you know, I received a complaint on it from a lady at 158 Maple, one of the adjoining property owners, and this board can also, if you guys have looked at it, if you feel like it may not be in an unsafe condition, we can look at that route too. I've tried everything I know to get the paper to the owners.
What you said you sent a letter to the owners that you'd found on the parcel. When did they receive that?
October 1st.
Did they not sell that off to another?
The current vesting deed shows. Well, actually, I can pull up a copy.
What was the Schuler?
Here, I'll pass around the letter. But it's LNS Enterprises is the partnership. Tony Schuler and Terrence Lancaster.
Yeah.
That's the letter. I know the date on the second page is wrong. The letter didn't go out with the wrong date. It just automatically updated when I pulled it up.
And the address on Elevate was in, I think, Georgia.
In Georgia. I checked the Georgia Secretary of State's website for that company name. It doesn't exist in Georgia. So I did. I checked Georgia Secretary of State. Of course, Indiana Secretary of State shows that limited partnership actually is defunct, but that's still who holds title, and it's these two guys. So they're both alive. I had a private investigator run these guys to find out where they were. That's the only way I could figure out.
They received it on the 1st. Today's the 8th. It says it must be within 10 days to request a hearing. So technically, they have 2 additional days to request a hearing from us.
They do.
Well,
even though it was listed as today, they may have no intention of requesting a hearing and just simply addressing the issues as listed in the letter here. As the letter states, required to complete corrective action specified in order in 30 days from the date of notice as indicated in section B5 of the order, and you have the right to request a hearing on Unsafe Building Authority. Any such must be submitted in writing to the office of the Sellersburg Building Commission within 10 days of this notice. This matter will be discussed in the next Unsafe Building on October 8th. I encourage you to be present and advise the authority. Obviously, it was encouraged and not mandatory, just from a legal perspective, and then also looking at the Sellersburg Commission notice within 10 days. So, in theory, if they do receive the letter on the 1st, they could be working through getting addressed. Obviously, there's been no communication from us, so we won't know that. But now that we have accurate addresses and names, so we can run them down and have a phone conversation of what the intent is here to give us better insight on what the commission's next steps would be.
And I have physically taken the unsafe notice and delivered it to the manager at Arby's. When they were on a phone conversation right after I did that. So they do know who they're paying their rent to, I'm sure.
So what action do we take? Do we table it till next month?
I'm going to recommend we table to the next meeting, but in the interim, we now have good points of contact for the property owners that we can potentially communicate with or work to communicate with about getting this item resolved. I recommend we move it to old business for the November meeting for a follow-up. And at that time, if we don't have action or response, then we potentially look at moving forward with.
I make a motion that we table the Arby's fence until our next meeting in November.
No motion from Terry and a second from Nate to table until the November unsafe commission hearing. Any further discussion?
Yeah, for the record, I'm emailing Bart both full reports I got from the private investigator that contains multiple phone numbers, email addresses, and stuff for these guys. So Bart, if you want, you can use this to try to reach out to these guys.
Right. All right. All in favor of tabling the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Table to the November meeting. Have any other communications? Any other reports? Any other announcements? We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, we have executive session on the agenda.
I didn't think we were doing that. I apologize.
Need a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session related to strategy regarding litigation anticipated to be for building enforcement codes.
I make a motion to close the regular meeting and open the executive session.
I'll second that. All right. All in favor by aye? Aye. Alex. You should be able to pause it.
I think pause it. So we'll have to come back out.
Do we want to do it in here or do we want to do it in another room?
Well, as long as we're not rolling with the recording.